Are your emails getting the attention they deserve? They're probably getting lost in the inbox. I'll share 5 ways you can get your emails read and acted on. Email is one of the most pervasive and indispensable communication tools you probably use today. But emails are surprisingly ineffective at communicating information or influencing their readers. Quite frequently, you're not going to get the attention of that email that you expect, and you might not get the action you expect out of the email that you just sent. But the email isn't the issue itself. It provides almost instantaneous communications and can be one of your best assets if used effectively. The problem is getting your email read and acted on by busy people who are receiving your emails, along with many others. So here are 5 techniques that you can use to improve your emails, get more attention from them, and perhaps get them acted upon on a more regular basis. Number 1, make the subject line clear. The subject line is like a headline in a newspaper or magazine. It's the thing that people are going to look at first, and they're going to decide whether or not they're going to want to read the rest of the email. So you need to make it compelling. If you know your audience, you need to figure out the kind of terminology and words that's going to make an impact. And this isn't just for a mass marketing email campaign. You have to use the same approach with your subject line with an individual like your boss, your staff, or colleagues as you would if you were doing marketing. So by thinking through what that individual is going to be interested in hearing and what's going to compel them to open your email and read it, you're going to put that into your subject line. Now, if you reply to a message that somebody else has sent you, perhaps you're CCing the group, or even if you're forwarding it on to somebody else, don't have any compunctions about changing the subject line. You want to make sure that when you reply or when you forward it on, that it's equally compelling to somebody who receives it, especially if you're putting a message in or a response about what was in the email. You want it to relate to what you're saying, not necessarily the entire email or what somebody else thought was an appropriate subject line. Number 2, lead with your call to action. In the body of your email, the first thing you should talk about is what you expect. If you need something approved, perhaps you sent an email to your boss, that's what you should say. If it's just for information, say that as well. If there's any other activity or things like due dates or critical issues, you want to put that up front. Don't make the mistake of leaving it at the bottom, where it may or may not get read fully. So number 3, avoid large blocks of text. When you write an email with very few paragraphs, it's very, very hard to read, especially on a mobile device. So what you want to do is have a lot more paragraphs, a lot shorter sentences, and you want to make sure that it's easy for them to see the different thoughts that you have throughout your email. Now, number 4, keep it short. Along with what I just talked about, it's very important to keep all your emails short. Don't write a lengthy email. And if you're talking about more than one topic, split it into multiple emails. That way you can make sure your subject line relates directly to the topic. If you have several topics or issues that you're trying to cover off in one email, some of them may not be as compelling to others, and you're going to have a really tough time making the subject line of interest to the readers and to relate directly to what you're trying to get out of that email. By splitting it up, you're going to have a better chance of success with those emails. Finally, use formatting. Formatting isn't just for Word documents. In order to get your information seen, read, and even acted upon, what you really need to do is use headings, bold them when necessary, use bullet points and numbered lists. Skip the long paragraphs, and if you've got several things you're trying to say in that one paragraph, write them out as a bullet point. Not only is it quicker and easier to read, that formatting will focus attention on the specific items that you're looking at. Now obviously be careful with formatting. Some devices may read them a little bit differently, whether it's bold or numbering systems, etc. And if you're using anything else like colors or text, they also may cause some problems. However, with smartphones and mobile devices these days, most of them read HTML, which is how that formatting information gets conveyed. It's not like the old days where your BlackBerry would convert it to a plain text and any of your formatting would have gone out the window. So keep that in mind. Having said that, always test. Send the draft to yourself, read it on your mobile device, read it in your webmail, see how it looks, and only when you're sure that it's going to come up the way you want it, then you send it to whomever you want. So by using these techniques, people are much more likely to notice, read, and act on your emails. And what can be better than that?